Today, we're going to talk about 5 things you didn't know about auctions.
We are. First, we got to watch this intro.
Let's go.
Let's go. Come on.
Welcome to the It's Me, Larry B podcast with Larry B and Nelly. Let's go!
Ice cubes touching your straw. Let me introduce you to the sauce. Let me introduce you to the sauce.
Hey, everybody. It's me, Larry B. We're here at the Real Estate Cheddar Podcast.
What up?
What's up? What's up? So today we're going to talk about auctions in real estate.
They're exciting. I love an auction.
They are. They're exciting. And that's what gets people sometimes, right?
Yeah, gets them a little caught.
Set up price. But there is a lot of risk when you talk about auctions.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
And that's why a whole lot of investors do not mess with auctions. But if you know the risks,
The reward is worth it.
it could be worth it. It could be worth it. So the big thing about auctions is there could be still some liens on the title. People don't understand that, right?
Yep.
You want to do a title search before any auction, and you want to make sure with the auctioneer or the online auction company what kind of title you're getting.
Right.
If they tell you you're getting a quit claim deed,
Run.
well, not necessarily, but that does tell you right there that there is issues, right? They might be auctioning a property because it has boundary issues. It could have title issues. It could be an heir that didn't sign years ago. It could be some kind of lien in the neighborhood. I mean, unlimited. There could be tax liens on the property, mechanics liens, unsettled estates. I mean, there's so many things that could come with a title. And
Encroachments.
all right, you get things. If they're giving you a warranty deed, the title is pretty good, right? And that's a good thing. But there could still be a lot of other risks.
Yeah. I think because I said I love auctions and they're so exciting, I think the risk of your own emotions at the auction is part of a risk. Because you get, it's a bidding war or, whatever, your emotions. What's the word I'm talking about when adrenaline. Your adrenaline takes over.
Yeah, how many times have we had people tell us, I'm not going over 200, and then you go to sign the auction contract at the end of the auction, and they're the high bidder at 260. So you got to set boundaries and know where you want to spend, right? In saying that, we've seen some people get some pretty good deals at auctions over the years.
Yeah, my parents bought our house at auction back in the 70s?
Yes. There's foreclosure auctions. There's tax auctions. There's so many different ways. And the online auctions scare me more than anything. Still, as an auctioneer, I'm an auctioneer. And the online auctions are kind of scary.
Yeah.
And the reason that is you can't talk to the auctioneer. You don't know what's going on. You're not really sure. They kind of hide what kind of title they're going to give you. They don't tell you about certain liens that could be on the property. And when you read the disclosure, that scares you off right there. It tells you there could be liens, there could be encroachments, there could be title issues. These are all things that should come up. So
zoning issues.
The difference between a warranty deed and a quit claim deed is a quit claim deed does not transfer the property right. So you can do a quit claim deed if there's liens, if there's issues, if it's a cloudy title, it don't matter. What you're doing is you're transferring whatever you own to that person. So literally, I could sell somebody, I could give somebody a quit claim deed tomorrow on the White House. Now, it would have zero value because guess what?
Right.
I don't own
You have no
any
interest
of
in it. Yeah.
So what a quit claim deed does, it tells you that whatever interest I have in the White House, I'm going to give it to you.
Thank you.
What interest do I have? I have zero interest in the White House, right? Don't mean I can't do a quit claim deed. So keep that in mind. A warranty deed cannot be transferred without the liens removed. Any cloudy titles have to be cleared up. Any taxes have to be paid. And it has to be an insurable title where you can get title insurance. So it changes the game. If you can talk to the real estate agent, that still does not cover all the trouble you could get in.
Right.
There is no, usually, 99% of the time, there is no contingencies in an auction contract. So when that hammer slams and you are the high bidder, you bought a property.
It's yours.
If you come back tomorrow and it broke in 2 pieces, you own both halves. If the neighbor's garage is on your property, if that garage is on the neighbor's property, guess what? You still have to settle that. If there's taxes due, liens, encroachments, clouds on the title, there's so many things that could be there. You still own that.
And that goes back to surrounding yourself with a good team and a good title good title attorney and good real estate agents. And, you just got to have a good team around you, no matter if you're buying, through an auction or through, conventional way of purchasing.
An auction would definitely be a way I would want to get a real estate agent involved. Mm-hmm. If you're going to buy a property at auction, that's a great time. Even if you have to pay them out of your own pocket, it's a great time to get a real estate agent involved. A lot of people think, I can do this. I don't need an agent. I can do this myself. And we see them getting a lot of trouble. And that's what this whole thing is about, is you want the deal that you might get at the auction, but the reason you get a deal is because a whole lot of people are scared to bid on that auction for reasons, right? Now, if you go to an auction and you can talk to the owners, they tell you there's going to be a warranty deed, you can talk to the auctioneer, the real estate agent that's got it listed. That's a little different story. An auctioneer cannot sell a property at auction without a real estate agent. So there has to be a real estate agent that you can talk to and ask questions. And, if you're worried about it, put it in an email so you get coverage of what you're talking about and what they tell you. So that makes a big difference than just buying an auction online. When you're buying an auction online, usually there's nobody you can talk to. You could try to call. It'll be a 1-800 number. These are companies that just run auctions all day. There's an outside source that may list that auction on there. Usually they're very hard to get a hold of. They don't want to answer questions. When you ask questions like, is there any liens on the property, they're going to say things like, there could be. Is there any encroachments? Well, maybe. Is there clouds on the title? Could be. They're not going to answer you direct. And you know what? They may not know. As an auctioneer, when you're selling a property as is, your job is to let everybody know anything that you know, but it's not necessarily your job to do a bunch of research to find out these things. It's the buyer's job to do the research.
Due diligence.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So it's not my job to go to the PVA and talk to the inspector and run a title check. These aren't all things that I have to do. If I'm selling a property as is at auction, I'm not going to do a lot of due diligence because I'm not guaranteeing anything, right? Mm-hmm. Anything I know, I'm going to tell them, but I'm not going to guarantee a lot of these things. So it's not anything I'm going to dig into. So it is your responsibility as a buyer to dig in there. Could be a deal. Maybe they do own $5,000 in taxes. If you get an attorney, a closing attorney that tells you, yes, if you buy this quit claim deed property and you pay this $5,000 tax lien, I can get you a general warranty deed. That might be something that works, right? But you got to be informed. The last thing you want to do is go buy a property and find out it's got a $75,000 where they haven't paid the HOA in 27 years, or maybe they got a mechanics lien where they didn't pay the roof or after they put a roof on it. These are things that I've seen come up, and they can come up.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's all kinds of things that can come up. What is a buyer's premium? What's that?
Well, yeah, a lot of people don't know, too, that most auctions have a buyer premium, and this is how the real estate agent and the auctioneer usually get paid. Now, it can be part of the contract. The contract between the seller and the auctioneer and the real estate agent is really none of your business or things you won't find out.
Right.
But a lot of properties can have a buyer's premium from 1% to 20%. So in meaning, if you pay if it had a 10% buyer's premium, which is very common in that business, and you paid $200,000 for it, your real price is $220,000.
Right, and you got to have that day.
Yes, and usually there's a really big, like 10% down deposit the day of auction, and guess what? If some reason you do not close, you're not getting that money back. So you need to make sure that you can close, whether it's a loan, hard money loan. Remember, if you're trying to get a hard money loan on an auction, they still have to do an appraisal, right? So if you buy it at auction, it don't appraise, you can't get the loan, you lose your 10% down. So you have to know 100% that you can buy that property and you have the funds to buy that property, or you can get the funds to buy that property, because you will literally lose your down payment if you don't.
Risk number 421.
Yeah, right. Let's talk about online bidding, and we kind of got into that, but let's get into it a little more. So how do you know Jim Bob, the auctioneer, isn't just running the background up or having his friends bid? And this can be the same thing in a live auction. How do you protect yourself from somebody running you up because they know you want a property? One thing, when you show up to a property, you don't talk to anybody really, except for the auctioneer, and you don't give them any clues about what you're doing. You might talk to the auctioneer, real estate agent, but if you look at the guy next to you and you say, "Oh, I'm going to go to 200," well, he knows he can buy it for 205, right? So, or 202. So, this is something you don't want to really talk to the people about any of your business. You don't want to get into what you will go up to, what your funding is, your down payment. These are things you only talk to with the auctioneer, and you really limit what you say to them about your finances and your intentions to bid, right?
Yep.
I know a lot of auctioneers and I know a lot of real estate agents, and they're very honest people, but I have also seen some things that I wonder, what really happened. So if you're bidding online, there's a lot more intent or easier ways for them to bid against you, right? And not saying you couldn't do it at a live auction, not saying the real estate agent, the homeowner, even maybe the real estate agent, the auctioneer don't know anything about it, but the homeowner's got his cousin Jim bidding it up to a certain number, right? So really set yourself a solid number where you can feel like you have some profit in this property, and that's what you bid up to, and you stop there. I'm not saying if you got it in your head 200 on a property and there's $50,000 worth of profit in your head, you don't go to 202, but you don't go to 222.
Right.
You say, this is where the property makes sense, and that's where you bid up to no matter what. Yeah. There could be fraud in these auctions, and when these companies, these out-of-state companies, some of them even out of country have, like auction.com, these things, and you have banks and different companies listing properties on here. You don't really know what's going on in the background. That's what really scares me about online auctions. So keep that in mind when you're bidding. Phantom bidders can be real, and whether it's live, online, but the thing about it is when you involve other companies that are out of state, maybe it's just a website that does auctions, they're not representing the auctions, the auctioneer and the seller is, but who knows what's going on in the background. Keep that in mind and stick to your guns on the prices you're thinking.
Right. When you talk about reserves, what do you mean by reserves?
Well, does an auction, when you're heading to an auction, do they have a reserve on the property?
Right.
That's something you want to know. A lot of times in real estate, the reserve will be published, right? That's not a bad thing, right? So if you think I'm going to go to 250 and the auction has a published $200,000 reserve, you're not too worried about that reserve, right? It just means the auctioneer is going to start at 200 and they want to make sure it goes north from there. They don't want to lose money either. But what if you drove 5 hours to an auction thinking that it was no reserve, and you get there and the reserve's way higher than the value you wanted to spend? You wasted your time. So you need to dig into reserves. This is something you need to know. You can find out online. You can ask the auctioneer if they don't tell you there's a reserve. So when you look at advertising, auctioneers have a duty, and they can only advertise one way. So if it says no reserve, absolute, these are things that's going to sell that day, okay? Mm-hmm. If it just says auction, there's probably a reserve, and you need to dig into that and find out what's going on.
Gotcha.
So yeah, thank you guys for coming out. Auctions can be a good opportunity. Don't take us wrong. We just want you to understand what you're dealing with. A lot of people don't understand about auctions, and we'll get deeper into this. It's me, LarryB.com. Our coaching, it's me, LarryB.com. A little slower so you guys can check it out. Go there, check out our coaching. We teach agents, we teach investors, and sign up. Take some of our courses. There's a lot of good information. We get a lot deeper into our tips and tricks, things that we can show you what's going on in this business and keep you from making the mistakes we made in the beginning.
Right.
So we'll see you again soon, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button. Thanks, guys.
Let's go.
Let's go.